Hi everybody, welcome to MBG Moves. I'm Jules Bakshi, this is Gabi Cortez, and we're from Good Move. Today we're going to take you through a 20-minute intuitive Pilates class. Intuitive Pilates just means you listen to your body and try to follow along with the instructions, but if anything doesn't feel right for you, take any modifications that you need and allow yourself to move in a way that feels right on your body today, whatever it's going through. Here we go. Let's start at the back of the mat. We're going to start with some spinal movements and some posterior chain activation. So this is for the back of the body. Sweep those arms all the way up, deep inhale. Exhale, come to a flat back, reach the arms out to the side. Try not to shift back into the heels here. Keep the weight in the center of the foot. Soften the knees if you feel like you're hyperextending. Also make sure that you're not rounding the spine or letting the head dunk down. We're going for length through those fingertips. See if we can keep the ribs squeezing up in towards the spine. Now squeeze your glutes, root through your heels, stand up tall, bring the arms up overhead, and lift your gaze. We're gonna take that a little bit faster, so crease at the hips. And stand up tall. Bring the breath with you. Exhale to tip. Inhale to reach. Keep it going, and it's tip it forward, flat back, and reach it up. Long spine. And keep going. A few more times. We want to make sure that you're only going as far as you can without bringing rounding into the back like I just did. So if you can only go this far, then just go that far. We'll take 4 more. 4. Squeezing the glutes at the top. We're hinging from the legs. This is 3. 2 more. Last time. Reach all the way up, take a deep breath in. Now squeeze your glutes, push your hips forward, take a high arch, opening the front of the chest, lifting that heart up to the ceiling, deep inhale. Exhale, come back to the center. We take a full swan dive all the way down. Gently nod the head yes, and shake the head no. No tension in the neck and shoulders. We're gonna bend the knees, knees glide out over toes. Extend the legs long, rooting through those heels. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, extend the legs long. Inhale, bend the knees. This time we crawl out to our first high plank. Collarbones are broad. Belly button is hugging in towards the spine like you've got a hot zipper on. We want to keep the rib cage lifting up, pressing up out of the shoulder blades. We want to make sure we're not collapsing down like this, staying really nice and lifted here. We're here for 5 and 4. Keep breathing. 3 and 2. We're gonna bring a rock into the heels, pulsing back and forth through the balls of the feet. Getting a nice little calf stretch here. And we're here for 8 more counts. See if you can unlock your elbows. Keep the head in line with the spine. Collarbones are broad, shining your heart forward and up. Just 2 more. Hold that plank for 1 more breath. Solid, still pose, deep inhale. Exhale, hug your belly button up like you've got a hot zipper on. You're trying to pull that belly button away from the hot zipper, and gently lower those knees down. You're in all 4s now. So I want the shoulders stacked right over the wrists and the hips right over the knees. Or if you want a little bit more abdominal work, your hips can be slightly forward as long as you're not coming into an arch here. So you're in a nice quadruped position. The rib cage stays lifted up. The belly button stays lifting in towards the spine. From here, we take a Serratus Dip. That means we sink the chest slowly down towards the ground, and then we lift it up. You're flossing the arm bone against the shoulder blade here. It's not a push-up. The elbows stay unlocked, but we're not coming into a bend. We're working the serratus muscles, the muscles that support the connection between the shoulder and your back. So we like to do these Serratus Dips before we do any major arm work to get the most out of the connection between the arm and the back. Let's take 4 more here. As we do this, notice if your rib cage is flaring. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay, so we wanna try to keep the ribs lifted up the whole time so your abdominals are engaged. 1 more time, stay nice and lifted here. I'm gonna make an adjustment for anyone if your knees are hurting you here, or if you're feeling tender in the knees, you can double up your mat or you can tuck the toes under, whatever is more comfortable for you. Come to that nice lifted position, tuck your toes, hover the knees 3 inches above the ground. Belly button is hugging in towards the spine. Shine the heart forward and up, try not to let the head drop down towards the floor. Now press those palms firmly into the ground and feel like you're dragging them back towards your thighs. And give me a little nod of your head if you feel that in your low belly. I feel it in my low belly. So as you drag those hands back towards the thighs, you're gonna feel your transverse abdominals kick on. Stay breathing here for 5 and 4. I'm feeling that shake. And 3. How about you, Gabi? And 2. And 1, lift those hips up, downward facing dog. Armpits reach for the upper thighs. We're gonna open the front of the armpit here. We're gonna get a little bit of a stretch in the sides of the body. Deep inhale. Exhale, ripple through the spine out to a high plank. So hug the belly button in like you're tucking your tailbone in between your legs and come to a nice high plank. And then you're gonna push the floor away, crease at the hips, lift back into the downward facing dog. Inhale, we peel forward. When I say peel forward, I mean I want your tailbone to initiate this. And then your head finally comes out last. So we're moving sequentially through the spine. Exhale, push back to the dog. Take this a few more times at your own pace. Inhaling to peel out to high plank, making sure you come to that nice lengthened position through the heart, and then exhaling, pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, rippling forward, heart is shining forward, long spine energy through crown of head and through tailbone. Armpits reach through upper thighs. Take it a couple more times here at your own pace. So listen to your body. Bring your breath with you. That means don't hold your breath. Try and bring a breath into every movement if you can. I like to say exhale on the effort. So whatever that means for you, which is the hardest part of this exercise for you, exhale on that part. Bring it back out to high plank, hold it there. Now, step your arms out a little bit wider. I would say mat width apart, and if you've got really broad shoulders, maybe even take it wider than mat width apart. We're gonna take a pec push up here. How you doing, Gab?
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna bend our elbows out to the side and lower down eccentrically. That means as slowly as possible, all the way down to our bellies. I'm gonna show that one more time, Gabi. You can hang out there on the floor and do it with me if you want. But if this is too much for you to do an eccentric push-up with your knees up, just float the knees down. You're in knee plank. You can do that in one piece from the knees. Okay, now that we're down here, I want you to cactus your arms. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. And on your next exhale, you're gonna roll your shoulder heads back. Lengthen that tailbone towards the heels, so it's almost like the tailbone is tucking between the legs. And then you're gonna rotate your arm bones a little bit so that your hands float up off the floor. And then on your next exhale, you're gonna float your torso up off the ground. And keep the shoulder rotating down the back here. So we're getting like a nice gliding of the shoulder blades down the back here. Deep inhale. Exhale, float the head and shoulders down, all the way down. Deep breath in at the bottom. Exhale, lengthen your tailbone, peel everything up off the ground. And I want you to be mindful of this rotation of the arm bone. So we're peeling the head and shoulders up. I also want you to be mindful here that we're not crunching the neck back. The chin is tucked slightly towards the chest here, slowly lowering down. Exhale to peel up. Rotating the arm bone in the shoulder socket. Take that a couple more times, and then we're gonna combine our eccentric push-up with this upper back and shoulder work. This is really, really nice for getting out of any hunching and scrunching patterns, or if you've been sitting at a desk all day. And I'm kind of turning my cheek to one side every time I come down. You can decide what you want to do with your cheek there, or if you want to come back down to the center. And we'll take one more. Coming back down. Okay, so now we're gonna do a combined exercise. Tuck your toes, plant your hands out wide. We're gonna come into that pec push-up in reverse. You're gonna push up to that nice high plank with wide arms. Woo! We're gonna lower down as slowly as you can. This is our eccentric work. That means feel the work in the resistance going nice and slow. Fully melt down. Come to that cactus position. Exhale, peel the head and shoulders up. Inhale, float it down. Plant the hands, tuck the toes, push up. Again, you can also do this on your knees. If it's too much, we melt down. Slow, 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 slow. Breathing, taking it at a pace that works for you. You unwind. Exhale, peel it up. Inhale, float it down. Tuck the toes, plant the hands. You press up off the ground in one piece, if you can. Floating down, nice and slow. Really working the chest, the pecs, the back of the arm. You completely melt down. You exhale to peel up. Hands plant. Tuck and press. We'll take two more, all the way down. Melt to the ground. Exhale, lengthen that tailbone. Peel the head and shoulders up. Feel your scapulas working. Melt down. Press up. Melting all the way down. One more, Gab?
Yeah.
Why not? Melt all the way down. Tailbone lengthens to heels. We'll take it again, peel it up. Melting down. Bring the breath with you. Last time, pressing up. You got this. And again, you can take it on your knees if you need, no problem at all. Slowly lowering down. Let's make it even slower. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, plant your hands in by the rib basket and push back into a child's pose. Again, if you've got a little knee thing here, you can tuck the toes if that feels better in your child's pose. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. So nice. Rounding up to sit on those heels. We're gonna shift onto our butts and bring our legs around. Or transition in whatever way feels good on your body. Scooch forward on your mat. And we're going to pull the meat out from under our sitting bones. If you're particularly blessed in that area, really just like reach around, grab it out so that you can sit up nice and tall without curling into your low back here. Reach those arms out in front of you, broaden through the collarbones, take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, hug the belly button in towards the spine and start to round down one vertebrae at a time. So even though we're rounding down, I don't want you to collapse in the upper back. Keep the chest really broad. Your low back, it's like someone is, what is it called? Popping a balloon, like popping a balloon, right? And your low back is gonna come down to the mat. The mid back is gonna come down to the mat. The upper back is gonna come down to the mat. Reach those arms up to the ceiling, take a breath in. Exhale, tuck the chin slightly to the chest, fold the ribs in towards the spine, keep the spine really round, and now we're reversing it, so we're peeling up one vertebrae at a time. Once you come up, find the top of those sitting bones and then sweep those arms up overhead. So let's take a little bit of extension here, just lengthening through that spine. Arms come back down in front of you, deep inhale, and then pop the balloon. Whew. Yeah, slow motion. It's a slow motion balloon pop here. Belly button hugging into the spine. Ribs are folding in towards the spine. No rush. In fact, the slower you go, the better it gets here. Arms reach up to the ceiling, deep inhale. Exhale, chin tuck slightly to the chest. We reach forward. The rib cage folds in towards the spine. We're reaching. We're sitting all the way up. We're sweeping the arms up overhead to get a little bit of extra mobility through those arms. And let's take that again. And we can move through it a little bit faster if you want. It's really up to you, the tempo, okay? So again, listening to your body and noticing where you feel like you might be collapsing on the way down. And the places where it's hard for you to go slow are usually the places that we want to slow it down, right? So for me, the hardest part is once my low back is touching, I really just want to lay down, but I'm going to try not to. My low back is touching, whoo, and then it gets really hard in those abs, and then I'm going to soften and slow it way down. Exhaling, coming up. The hardest part for me is like this initial part where I have to peel my head and shoulders up, and I'm really trying to reach through those fingertips. Again, so just notice, just build your sense of awareness. This is part of the intuitive nature of this Pilates session, is that I want you to tune in to what is feeling right for you and to notice the sensations in your body, because everyone's sticky spot is going to be a little bit different. And the things that are challenging for us are going to all be a little bit different. And all of our bodies are a little bit different, so that makes perfect sense. Inhale at the top. And last time, coming all the way down. Whew. So nice. Reach those arms all the way up and back behind you. Extend the legs out nice and long. And just take a deep inhale as you reach the fingers away from the toes. And exhale, then wiggle it out. Take a big shake, and bring the arms down by your sides. Shake the meat off the bones. Resetting here. Plant those feet on the floor right under the knees. I want you to find a neutral pelvis. What that means is that the heels of the hands are on the hip bones, fingertips are on the pubic bone, and this triangle is parallel to the ground underneath you. So you don't want to tuck your butt under, you don't want to arch your back, you want to find that spot that's right in between those two. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, imagine there's a hot zipper on your belly button. You're gonna hear me say that a bunch of times. Feel like you're pulling your belly button away from that hot zipper. Good, and one more time, deep inhale. This is very subtle, nothing happens much. You can't see much happen. Exhale, hug your belly button in towards your spine. Hold it there. You're gonna have a little bit of space under your low back without being hyperextended, without being tucked. It's just the natural curve of your spine here. One more time, deep inhale. Exhale, hug that belly button in. You can imagine that there's a drawstring pulling your hip bones toward each other, okay? Or that hot zipper is going all the way up to your rib cage. Maintain that connection with the transverse abdominals here. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Exhale, keep everything in the low belly the same. Peel the head and shoulders up off the ground. Fold the rib cage in towards the spine. Make sure that you didn't just tuck your butt under when you did that. Release your tailbone, anchor it heavy on the floor. You will feel a lot more work in those low abs if you keep that tailbone pressing into the ground and if you keep your pelvis neutral. Inhale, head and shoulders down. Exhale, head and shoulders up. Inhale, head and shoulders down. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. We want to make sure that we're not yanking on the neck here. The chin is tucked slightly towards the chest, just so that we can feel the length in the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. So in other words, we don't want to be kinking back our heads like this, and we don't want to be scrunching in like this. Just a nice, again, neutral position of that spine. Good. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Keep that tailbone anchored down. You're doing great. Inhale down. Exhale, lift and stay there. We're gonna add on. We're going to reach our hands for above our knees. Yeah, so maybe you get like a little extra lift there without tucking your butt. Hands behind the head. We inhale down. We exhale, lift. And reach. And return. Inhale down. Exhale up. It's reach and return. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Keep going. Reach and return. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. And it's reach and return. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. How you doing? A little bit more. And down, and lift, and reach, and return. And we're gonna stay peeled up. Hold it there. Reach your right pinky for your right pinky toe. And now we're gonna saw off our pinky or our heel. We're gonna reach for it, getting into those obliques. We reach. You can keep your left hand behind your neck to keep that support here. We're getting into these little side abdominals. Those are your obliques. Stay peeled up high in your head and shoulders here. We're here for 8 and 7, 6, really reach, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. Inhale, head and shoulders down. Woo! Exhale, head and shoulders up. And reach your left pinky for your left pinky toe. And here we go. We're reaching and leaning. How you doing, Gab?
Great.
Great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling it in my obliques. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Return to center. Inhale, head and shoulders down. Ho! Cactus those arms and windshield wiper the knees side to side to give those obliques just a little bit of a release here. Coming back to the center. Bring those elbows down by your sides. Fingertips pointing up to the ceiling. Relax the shoulders, relax the face and jaw. Make sure that those feet are right underneath your knees. Now we're gonna squeeze those sitting bones together. Now I want you to come out of that neutral, tuck your tailbone under and slowly peel your tailbone up off the ground, 1 vertebrae at a time. Squeezing those sitting bones together. You wanna keep the rib cage closed here, so make sure that you're not flaring the ribs. We don't wanna come into a back arch. We're keeping the abdominals engaged. And now we ripple down from the top of the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Like you're imprinting each vertebra into the mat on the way down, like you're steamrolling your spine onto the ground. You release all the way to neutral. Take a breath in. Exhale, squeeze those sitting bones together, tuck the tailbone under and peel it up 1 vertebrae at a time. Relax your face and jaw, relax your forehead, your eyebrows. If you're eyebrow clencher like me, just try and relax your face and let your glutes do this work for you instead of your face and your neck and your shoulders, which are working overtime for us these days. Those shoulders and necks especially. Take a breath in. And we ripple all the way down. We'll do 1 more, come to that nice high bridge without flaring the ribs. So we're gonna peel all the way up. Really nice. Okay, from here, we crease at the hips. So instead of rolling down, you're just gonna kiss your tailbone to the ground, kiss it down, squeeze it to lift. So it's like a little squat in this glute bridge. keeping the spine in one piece. So again, you don't want to arch your back. You want to lower those hips in one piece. The spine is in one long piece. We're creasing and lifting. If you were standing up, this would look like a parallel squat. Squeezing those glutes to the top, keeping the rib cage closed. I have to remind myself because my ribs, being a dancer, want to pop open like I'm at the club every time I do this exercise. We're going to keep those rib cage closed. We're going to do it for 5 and 4. Relax your toes on the ground, no gripping. 3 and 2. Last time, keep it lifted up. Okay, shuffle your heels in towards your glutes a little tiny bit and lift those heels up. If this feels like too much, you can always bring the heels back down to the ground, no problem. Okay, here we're gonna open those knees out wide, but we're not gonna let the hips drop even a little bit. Open those knees out wide, come back to parallel. Pull the ribs down, it's open the knees and close. A few more nice and slow, just like that, working into the glute medius, that's the side of the butt. And one more time, open those knees wide and hold them there. And now we're gonna take a mini pulse of the hips down and up, like you're pressing a button with your tailbone that's on the floor. You wanna just kind of like press the tailbone down, up, keep the knees wide for 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Let's change the accent. Now we're pulsing the pubic bone up to the ceiling like the buttons on the ceiling. It's up and up and up. You got this, up. We're here for 8 and 7 and 6. Keep the rib cage heavy. It's 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Close the knees up. We're gonna take a little circle of the thigh bones. I'll show you what to do. Lower the hips 4 inches down. Open the knees wide. Lift the hips up. Close the knees. Okay, we're gonna take that a little bit faster. It's lower, open, and lift, and close. It's lower, open, and lift. And let's start to stir it out. So smooth out those edges like you're stirring your thigh bones in the hip sockets. And it should feel nice and buttery while you also get that burn at the same time. You feeling the burn, Gab?
Oh yeah.
Stirring it up for 4 and 3. Whew. And 2 and 1. We're gonna reverse it. So we take the knees out, we lower the hips, we close the knees, we lift the hips, we open the knees, we lower, we close. Let's circle it out. Smooth out those edges. I am feeling it in my hamstrings and my inner thighs. Breathe, relax the face and jaw. We're here for 4 and 3. You're doing great. And 2 and 1. Lift those hips all the way up. Plant the heels down. Reach those arms up to the ceiling. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll down through the spine. Bring those elbows back down to the floor, legs up to the ceiling, and shake the feet off the bones. You want it to jiggle. Internally and externally rotate those thigh bones. Give it a good shake. Really jiggle it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You have earned a figure 4 stretch. Plant that right foot down. Left ankle crosses over right. Thread your hands through. Hug that shape into your chest. Ooh, breathing deeply into the left glute medius. By the way, in case you're wondering, you never have to earn a figure 4 stretch. You can just go into it. But it's gonna feel extra good now that you've worked those muscles. Wiggle that tailbone side to side, if that feels good. Legs up to the ceiling, shake the meat off the bones. And cross that right ankle over left thigh. Keep that foot flexed so that your knee and ankle are in the right alignment. You're gonna hug the shape into the chest. That feels so good. And if it feels nice for you, you can take a little bit of a wiggle in the tailbone or just hold it in stillness, whatever is feeling best on your body today. Make sure you're breathing deeply in these stretches, allowing any tension to melt out of the muscle there. One last shake it out. Plant those feet on the floor. Come out to full Shavasana or a final resting place. If this doesn't feel good on your low back, you can also take the knees wide and let them knock in, the feet wide and let your knees knock in towards each other. So whatever is your preference here, soften the shoulders down the back. Take a deep breath in through the nose. A big sigh. And allow your body just a few moments to integrate all of the new information, all of the sweat, all of the breath, all of the movement. One deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. And you folks are all done. When you start to move, please do so gently, slowly, and with intention. Giving yourself permission to stretch or noodle around in any kind of way that your body is asking for. That's part of the intuitive piece of this work, is just really giving yourself that permission and allowing your body to ask for what it needs and wants. I recommend this workout at literally any time. We worked all of the muscles. We worked a lot of different kinds of muscles, so you don't need to worry too much about overdoing it. This is really a nice touch on a lot of different parts of the body, so it's a nice way to get organized for your day, a nice way to turn on those core muscles, or a nice break in the middle of your day. If you want to take a lunch break or a little afternoon break with some movement, really, this is good for any time. Have a great day, everybody, and see you soon.